Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English. Friends, in this video I'm going to summarize an interesting story, The Luncheon, written by William Somerset Maugham. The Luncheon is a humorous short story written by the famous British author William Somerset Maugham. It is based on a real life experience the author had in his youth. The story is narrated in the first person and describes a lunch meeting with a woman who had once praised his book and requested to meet him. Although she claims she never eats much for lunch, she ends up ordering some of the most expensive items on the menu, while the poor narrator watches helplessly, worrying about how he will pay the bill. The story ends with a witty twist and shows how appearances and words can be misleading. Through humor and irony, William Somerset Maugham mocks human behavior, especially greed and pretentiousness. So let's the story begin. The narrator sees a woman at a play. One play was going on, and he's a writer. He observes a woman, he sees a woman, and she waves at him. He goes to talk her during the interval. She reminds him that they had met 20 years ago when he invited her for lunch. This makes him remember the day clearly. So, this story talks about the memory, the meeting which the narrator had before 20 years. So, there's a flashback. Let's go before 20 years. At that time, the narrator was a young writer living in Paris. He was very poor and he had only a small room near a cemetery. He didn't have much money. He had only 80 francs for the whole month. One day he got a letter from a woman. She had read his book and liked his book. She wrote that she was coming to Paris and wanted to meet him. She suggested for lunch at a restaurant called Foyot's. Which restaurant? Foyot's. And she wrote in the letter that she would like to have lunch with him at a restaurant, famous restaurant, the expensive restaurant called Foyot. Foyot's was very expensive restaurant, and the narrator had never been there because he's so poor. But he was flattered and he didn't want to say no, so he agreed. He thought a small lunch would only cost around 15 francs. So he thought it will cost hardly 15 francs. Let's go. He could skip coffee for the rest of the month to save money. So this is how he has planned that. He thought that, okay, the whole month I will not drink coffee and I can spend that 15 francs for lunch with that lady. So this is how he has decided to go for lunch with this lady at Foyot's. He expected this woman to be young and beautiful, but that woman was actually 40 years old. She was not very attractive. She had many large white teeth and she used to talk a lot, very talkative. She used to seem very talkative and mostly about him. He listened her very politely. When the waiter brought the menu, the narrator got worried because the prices were so high, but the woman smiled and she said, "I never eat anything for lunch." This made the narrator feel better, thank God. She won't eat much expensive food. Let's not be worried about the bill much because she said that I never eat anything for lunch. But this lady, even though she said she eats very little, she began ordering expensive food. She starts ordering one by one, one by one. So which are the food she ordered? First, she wanted salmon, which was not even in the on the menu. It was not listed in the menu. Salmon. She ordered salmon. Secondly, while waiting, she asked for caviar. She said, "Caviar, please." She said she never minds caviar, but even though she has ordered caviar, the narrator ordered a cheap mutton chop for himself and water, but she wanted champagne, saying that Her doctor told her it's good for digestion. See what the narrator is ordering for himself: cheap mutton chop and just water. But this lady, she's ordering champagne. Why? Because the doctor has told her that champagne is good for digestion. Then, then afterwards, she asked for giant asparagus, which were very expensive. Then, after that, she ordered ice cream and coffee. My God. Finally, she took a peach from a fruit basket, even though it was not the season, and that peach was very expensive because it was not the season, it was very costly. So, this was the order given by this lady, which was not expected by the narrator. Now, what's the narrator's problem? While she happily ate everything, she was talking about health and art. The narrator was simply seated quietly, but he was worried about the bill. He was scared that he wouldn't have enough money to pay the bill. He thought of excuses like pretending his wallet was stolen, even leaving his watch as a payment. So he was thinking that what excuse can I say when the bill appears here? He thought, will I say my wallet is stolen, or shall I have to surrender my watch for the payment? So that's the major problem he was thinking, he was facing. Now, in the end, he paid the bill, but he had no money left at all. Whatever he had paid the bill. He was left only 3 francs, and that 3 francs, the smallest tip he has given to the waiter. He could leave a very small tip, that is the 3 francs, and the woman looked at him as if he was stingy. The way she was observing him, it seems that the narrator was stingy, very mean, when he was keeping 3 francs in the menu book as a smallest tip. She smiled and she said, he should never eat more than one thing for lunch. You see, just see the contrast. She ordered so many things and she's telling him he should never eat more than one thing for lunch. Trying to be funny, the narrator said, I'll eat nothing for dinner. Don't worry. I'll eat nothing for dinner. My dinner is over today. She laughed and called him a humorist before getting into taxi. Then the ending, it's a twist here. Now the narrator ends the story by saying that he finally got his revenge. Not by doing anything, but by simply waiting. Because after 20 years, he's seeing that lady once again. That's the revenge. He finally got his revenge by not doing anything, but by simply waiting. And after 20 years, he sees this lady. Now that woman weighs around 21 stone. That's about 294 pounds weight. She's too fat. She says that that's my revenge. He finds comfort in this, thinking it is justice for what she did. She had too much food, and the god has paid for this. She has become so fat, having 294 pounds, 21 stone weight. That is that's my revenge now. That's what I have waited for 20 years. So the story, the story, the story, Luncheon teaches us that people may say one thing, they may do another thing. Some people take advantage of others' kindness and politeness. Life sometimes gives us unexpected justice in the end. The story also teaches us we should always be careful with money and we should always learn to say no. We should learn to say no. So this is how I have tried to summarize a very interesting story, The Luncheon by William Somerset Maugham. This story is in the syllabus of second semester BBA General English under Bangalore City University. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video, comment the video, subscribe the channel for more videos, for the model question paper, for the last minute revision. All these videos will get very shortly, but for that you need to subscribe. Thank you so much. Stay in tune with Mukesh English.